Hi, everybody. My name is Betty Torres. I am in San Antonio, Texas, and I am a presidential diamond with a company called doTERRA. And today it's my great pleasure to introduce a woman that I admire very much. She is very humble, but what she has accomplished has been really big. And I'll let her share all those details with you. But I have never met a woman with a more positive attitude. I have never met anyone with like a belief level that is beyond, and with determination that whatever she sets her mind to, she accomplishes. And so I am so excited today to bring on a woman who probably in your minds is a legend, because you guys have heard of her so many times. And with that, I'm going to introduce my dear friend, Rosalie Elliott. And Rosalie, if you would please share your story with all of us.
Well, thank you very much, Betty. I really appreciate just the invitation to even be here and to share my story. So really excited about that. Trying to figure out the whole screen thing myself. It feels like it's frozen.
Okay, we see you and it's not frozen on our end.
Okay. Okay. So anyways, I started my doTERRA journey way a long time ago. And I feel like whenever somebody is telling about their story, there's so many more pieces to the story than what you can actually tell. So I've thought about it a lot since Betty asked me, and working at, what are the most important pieces and what do I really want to convey? And that's a big subject too. So I'm going to start with the very beginning. No, not really. However, there was a lot to my story before, during, and even now. My story is not all the way done yet. I have a lot more life to live, and I'm excited about that. But prior to doTERRA, I tried several different network marketing companies. And with trying several different ones, I was looking for something. I was looking for, being an entrepreneur and being successful. And I was looking for different ways to bring income into my household. And I'd actually gotten introduced to network marketing when I was 18. I went to college, I got my degree, my background's computers, so I'm really handy on computers, which has really come in handy the last several months, which has been great. So there's a lot of pieces like that, but the ultimate piece that led me to doTERRA had to do with my health. And looking back at things now, like I said, is way different than in the moment. However, there's many things in my life that were unhealthy. And as I look towards, what is the underlying, the root thing, like Betty, mentions, what is that root piece? How did that look? What was that made up of? It really came down to a lot of emotional things, a lot of things in my life not going the way I wanted. I wanted to be successful in business, but I was working for the state of Alaska in a job that I necessarily didn't always like. There was parts of it that I liked, and I loved the people, but really I was not healthy. And about 12 or so years ago, I found myself in a very bad health situation where I wasn't getting the answers that I wanted. And the healthcare providers were saying, we don't really know what's wrong with you. However, we believe you're on the onset of MS. And I was like, what? No, I want to be healthy. I want to live life. I want to be energetic. I want to choose a better way. And so I asked the neurologist, I'm like, what do you think about natural things? And she was like, well, if you want to go down that route, more power to you. And so fortunately, a gal at my work, she knew a gal who knew Dr. Laurie. And the gal that she knew had been helping her through some health challenges. So I started working with her, and ultimately that led to me meeting Dr. Laurie Langfitt. And I loved Laurie. We spent a lot of time together. We were, brainstorming things. We weren't in business together at all. She was helping me with my health, and that was great. And we talked about foundational health. I was on some supplements. And then all of a sudden her office, she started diffusing oils. And I was like, what's this oils about? And she's like, well, my friend Betty, we were in network marketing before. And funny story is that Betty, Laurie, and I had actually been in one of those dozen or so network marketing companies Betty's laughing because it is really funny. We'd been in that company at different times, didn't know each other. Well, they might have known each other, but I didn't know them. And we had been at it in different times. And that was, when I was in that company, that actually led me on a really deep personal development road, which led me to realizing that I was designed for more than working a state job. I was designed for more in life than just existing, and I was designed for greatness. And that's something that, looking back at it, wow, that was really profound. You know, like for somebody to think they're designed for more, you know, who am I to say that I'm designed for more? Well, I just knew without a doubt that God had designed me for great things in my life. And I held on to that. And even though I was disillusioned with my businesses and disillusioned with my full-time job and different health things, I still believed, I had that belief in me that there was a greater story ahead. And so when Laurie had been talking to me about the oils, and I was like, yeah, but I have all these other products from all these other companies. Like, there has to be something good about these products. And she's like, really, there isn't. And she would muscle test me, and she's like, they're really not that good for you. And I was like, wow, I really thought I was on the path to better health. And so here she's diffusing the oils, and I just turned 50, and I was like, oh, you know, I'd been to my first trip ever to Hawaii, and I'm in Hawaii, and she's like, we really need to go into business together. And I'm like, doing what? Like, well, I did like her scanner. I thought that was really fascinating. In fact, I agreed to go with her to a scanning convention, nothing about the oils, but just, she was going to go to this convention. I was like, oh, I want to go with her. And I have this thing about having fun. So, you know, where there's fun, I really want to go, and being educated and learning things is always something that I strive for too, is like, we never know everything. And so she was talking about this convention she's going to, and then she's like talking about these oils, and I'm in Hawaii, like loving it, going, and she's like, we should have an office over there. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. Like, doing what though? You know, so we were still at this state of like, you know, I don't know. And so she's trying out the oils. When I got back from Hawaii, I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to go back to my job. And it was just like this treacherous thing at that point. And she goes, just lay down on my table. Let me put some oils on you. So now on this side of it, we're like, it's just funny to think that a drop of peppermint on the back of my neck, and the rest was history, is how we say now. And that really did get my attention. And we decided we were going to that convention long before I decided to do doTERRA. And it wasn't just but a few days after that Betty called, Laurie and Betty called me and talked to me about joining doTERRA. And I was like, yeah, you know, that sounds great. I really am, you know, working with natural things, and that would be a great thing. Although I didn't really understand it. But Betty had sent her this book, and she loved the book, The Modern Essential, that big Bible book, right? So she loved that. And Laurie was like reading through it, and she's like, there's just answers for everything. And I'm like, wow, that's like really amazing. But I had this huge belief, and I had this many different beliefs that, you know, God had me for a purpose, that if these were good enough for Jesus, then they would be good enough for me. And it was like all these pieces of things coming together in my brain that, you know, well, if the plants have always been here, it was like such a eye-opening experience the first few months in doTERRA. And one of the eye-opening things was the convention that we went to. I guess she let Betty know that, hey, we're going to go to Salt Lake to this convention. And I'm like, hey, Laurie, like, it's like an hour or so from doTERRA office. Like, we should go there. Like, because if we're going to really create something, like I wanted to create something for years, I'm like, if we're going to really create something, like, I want to know that it's real, because I've already been in, we were in that crazy company before, like we were like in all these other things, and nothing was really real. And it wasn't something that, you know, that I felt like God was really leading me to. And so she's like, okay, yeah, we'll like let Lil know and let Betty know. And Lil is one of our uplines, and Lil put together this beautiful day, 8 hours. And I'm sitting there. So we go to the home office, which was little, and it was like growing with people lined out the door. And I'm like, for oils? Like, I didn't really get it still. I was only like 3 months into the business. And I'm like, I just don't get what people are so crazy about these oils. Like, they smell great. And I get the scanner, and it tells you, you know, what oils that you can get. And that's really cool. And it's helping people. I love helping people. I mean, I was in public assistance. Like, I really do truly love helping people and being kind to people. And so I was like, well, let's go to this, meeting with the owners. And I was like, really, we get to meet them? Like, that's really weird. It was just so unusual for me because I had met the owner of one of my other companies, and I wasn't really that impressed, and he wasn't impressed with me either. Like, he even made the comment to my upline, oh, she'll never be successful. Anyway, so that's a whole nother story. I got lots of them to share. Anyway, so after that day, that 8 hours of sitting there, meeting 6 of the 7 owners and listening to Emily Wright cry about their mission and their goals and what they wanted to do with this company, I was on the side of, oh my gosh, I don't even care if I make any money. I just want to share these oils with people and help them change their healthcare. And one of my first experiences with the oils was one of my boys. He had multiple ear infections over the years. And so there's all these different things. That's why I say there's so many stories I could tell. But his is a powerful one in the beginning of my journey. And he had multiple ear infections. Antibiotics stopped working on him, and I didn't understand why that happened. But I knew, like, if they said, oh, give him this. And I'm like, no, that one doesn't work. Now give him this. And then that one stopped working. And so over time, he actually lost part of his inner ear. And he has a prosthesis in there that vibrates in his right ear, and it helps with the sound. Dr. Adrian of medical, I don't know, I didn't know of his title, but anyways, like, he probably gets this. I didn't get it. I was a computer person, and trying to help people in public assistance arena and stuff. And so I didn't really get it. However, my son said, hey, Mom, my ear hurts. And I'm like, okay, let's try the oils. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'll try your, voodoo oils, your crazy oils. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, what does the book say? I was always like, what does the book say? Like, don't trust me. Like, I'm not a medical professional. I don't treat, diagnose, or cure, So let's look in the book. The book said a couple drops of basil on a cotton ball and put in your ear. He did it. The next day he was fine. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, as a mom, I had 3 kids, and, like Betty had said too, like, grandkids were inevitable someday. Like, I wanted my family to have natural things. And when my eyes were open to that, I was like, oh my gosh, I could have been such a more empowered mother, to have resources and tools to help my kids. And I think that really, with the heart of the company and with their mission and their goals, that really was a catalyst to get starting. But you can go back to my medical stuff, like any medical thing that we have going on, that is a warning. That's what I've learned. Like, that's a warning of things to pay attention to. And then emotional side of things, what's going on in your body. Typically, there's an emotional component that goes with that. I've learned some really deep things about that. And so that started my journey. I just started sharing oils, and I became the share person, like sharing oils, sharing time, sharing resources, sharing information, and just really sharing myself and what I was learning with other people. And then we went to our first convention. And our first convention was awesome. And I sat there going, wow, I was like number 56,000 in February, and we're already up to probably the 80,000s. I enrolled quite a few people prior to convention. And I sat there thinking, wow, 3,500 people thought it important to come to this convention to hear this life-changing information. My dad had died a few years earlier of environmental leukemia. And I learned things about, the cells and how things going into your body with doTERRA. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is what they were referring to. Like, there's all these pieces that were flooding towards me that first year. And then one of my really good friends, Jennifer, she's done a video with Betty, which was awesome. And Shar, one of my leaders, those 2 gals are just amazing. And Russ, we have to say Russ too, because they're just amazing people that they took a hold of what doTERRA could do for them too, and that encouraged me. And going and seeing, just all these different pieces of doTERRA land. I say that about convention now. This year will be different. However, when you go to Salt Lake during convention time, it's like doTERRA land, like everything's doTERRA, and it's awesome. I want to say though that through all of this first year journey in doTERRA and really sharing, when Jennifer said, hey, I want to quit my job, I want to do this full time, I was like, I want to do that too. Like, but I had been in so many other networking companies where I never made any money, none. Okay, so it always cost our family money. And I didn't want to go down that road again. I was at the point where trusting God fully in all things, every single thing. And I gave it to him from the very beginning. I put my faith and trust in, if he wanted me to grow this, he would bring me the people, that it wasn't going to be up to me. I made decisions that even Emily Wright questioned one of my great decisions about where to place Shar and Russ, my diamond leaders. You know, I made decisions that were based on the heart. I'm a heart-centered person, and I've learned that I'm a heart-centered leader, and that's okay. We're all going to build different, and the way that we build is going to be what works for us. We get to make those decisions, we get to make those choices, and those decisions are going to stand the test of time for either you, your team, who you are as a person. And I got to tell you that I've been through some really hard life challenges. And through there, I've had my oils, I've had God, I've had a great, awesome community that works together. And I sit on the side now of, that's why I say my journey is not over here. I love our products. I could go through all the different products that I use every day. Grew my hair long over doTERRA life. It used to be super short, and the hair care products work amazing. Like on my skin, like I'm 59, I'm almost 60. Like, and people are like, did you have Botox? No, like I use doTERRA products. I use them from the foundational health that Betty taught us about. Like I could go on for hours, seriously. And I know Betty doesn't really want me to go on for hours, and we'll probably lose some of you. However, I just want you to know that the products, the mission, the company, everything about it is awesome. And if you go through high times, low times in your life, this company, the people, the community are going to be there for you. And what better life to live. And so when COVID hit, and I'd already been through some really hard times in my life, and doTERRA was there, the products helping me through all those times. I learned a lot the last few years about emotional components that trigger your health. Really look them up. Like I can go back to on the onset of MS, and I can find emotional things going on, even unconsciously, that could have brought on those health concerns. And I say, thank you, Lord, for all of that, because it was through those ailments, through those challenges, through life's downs and in the valleys of whatever, it was through those that I truly came to realize my value and my worth, not defined by people, not defined by a company, not defined by a product. However, doTERRA gives us the perfect avenue to love on people, to share our faith if we want to share something of value that can help them live their most excellent, awesome life. And so, to keep it shorter, one of the things I wanted to share, and I'll end with this, is that when COVID hit and the world seemed frozen, I had this overwhelming message from the most awesome God there is ever, that it was my time to rise up. So I took my skills, my love for people, and I've been through some, rebuilding phases in doTERRA and all different challenges. So I can say it's all great and it's awesome, and I can stay positive because I serve an awesome God, and he gives me that strength and that peace every day. But through this time, I rose up. I took charge of putting things online, helping our team to get focused, writing a creed, like a mission statement, like who are we? What do we stand for? And I'm so proud of the leaders in my team that have risen up to this challenge also, and they've come on board and they've put pride aside, they put, their oneness aside, not doing it alone anymore, that one woofness we call it. They're working together as a team. And so I wrote this creed, and I want to end with that because I believe that it follows through with all of doTERRA, is that Frankincense and Roses is the team I started way in 2011. And I did it for Frank and Rose, which is like men and women. That was kind of my thought on Frankincense and Roses, to be inclusive to everybody. I adopted now the team of excellence because I believe that we are here to be of excellence, not perfection. We'll never be perfect, but we can live a most excellent life. Choice is a powerful thing. suffering is optional. We get a choice every day. So our team of excellence creed is that we have the most amazing success-driven team that is blessed beyond belief to offer extraordinary natural solutions. People want to join our team as we focus on success in life, health, finances, and more. We understand responsibility, and we're here to serve the better good of ourselves, our families, our communities, and inevitably the world. And we look for the good in others and help them achieve their own successes. We work together, acknowledge one another's strengths and ideas, which results in us being more successful. We do all this and more with a vision of excellence through eyes of love.
Wow. Rosalie, okay, I didn't want to say before you spoke, I didn't want to say about all your accomplishments. But what this beautiful woman, this vision, this belief, this positive attitude led to was a team that had, and when I said legendary, your team numbers tens of thousands of people. You have changed.
40,000.
How many?
Almost 40,000.
40,000 people. She, when Dr. Laurie and I were getting started, and Dr. Laurie got Rosalie started, and Rosalie was the reason why we went to corporate and met with the owners. And then she took off so fast, like she took off faster than Laurie and I did. And she actually was like always getting to the ranks ahead of us. And we had never experienced that in any of our businesses before. And we were just trying to keep up with Rosalie. And what Rosalie did was she went out there and just shared from her heart, just like you heard her share today. Share, share, share. She just went out there and shared with such purity and this pure intent and this love. And she has so many blue diamonds. I think you have like 3 blue diamonds on your team. Her high rank is blue diamond. You have how many diamonds, how many platinums? And the reason that the ranks are important is because those are lives changed. Those are people who, I mean, you have the strongest leaders on your team that run their own teams. You know, they are so empowered. You have empowered so many people because you weren't the one you didn't have to control everything. You just got out there, you shared with love, and then you supported them as they built their teams and changed their lives. And so I personally want to thank you because you changed my life. You changed Laurie's life. We were just trying to keep up with you those first couple of years. And because of what you did and your passion, you know, we are all where we are today, seriously. So I thank you. I love you. And we are going to turn on I'm going to turn off the recording and I'm going to turn it on so that everybody can say